Mm.
Hi, everybody. This is the Political Woman podcast. I'm Gloria Moraga. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to my.
Hi. Hi, everybody. How you doing? It is Monday. Happy Monday. I see myself being frozen, maybe because I froze myself. La da da da. What are you doing the rest of your life? Okay. There we go. All righty then. Happy Monday, everybody. Yeah, it is 11:15 p.m. on Monday in California, so I say it's still Monday. Yep, I got my San Francisco shirt on. I forgot to change. But oh yeah, well, whatever. Uh TSA's getting paid. TSA's getting paid. Yay! Congress didn't do it. Trump told them to do it. But here's the thing. They had the money all along, and they could have done this. They could have easily just gotten an okay and approval and got it done. Kristi Noem didn't want to do it. We'll just say the new guy is too new and didn't do it. But Trump said do it, so they did it. And the Senate was in session for about, I kid you not, 30 seconds today or something like that. And they could have done it then. In fact, one Republican said, oh, yeah, I could have brought it up. But he didn't. And so they're on their Easter Passover break for 2 weeks. But in the meantime, TSA is getting paid. And I will have more from a TSA worker coming up later in the stream. So stay around for that. And I'm just chit-chatting a little bit here, hoping that some people join. I know it's late, and I know I'm, you know, I am who I am. I wanted to start with this. Oh, and I will give you all a warning. The pets are really acting up. So I have an older cat that is actually my daughter's cat. And she's just lived here for a really long time. So she stayed with me. And she is really bothered by the dog. And the dog just picks on her. So there's that. And so that's going on. So if you hear like growling in the background or anything, that's what it is. So wanted to start out with this because I saw some video earlier on the Al Jazeera website about this particular ship, this tanker being attacked in the Dubai port, and it was on fire. And now apparently Kuwait says fire broke out after Iranian attack on giant tanker and warns of possible oil spill in surrounding waters. So that's live going on right now. And then there's this. Trump threatens to obliterate Iran's energy grid if ceasefire not reached shortly. But then when you hear Trump's sound bites from today, it doesn't seem like that's like he's making threats and doing stuff like that. So we'll play some of those, and wanted to just give you an update on some things that are going on here at home, particularly gas prices. So the longer the war goes on, the worse the gas prices are. Um, I've got, this is from Business Insider. I'm going to just see if I can stretch it out a little bit and make it a little bit bigger. Business Insider, there you go. 20 U.S. states where gas prices are rising the most amid the Iran war. And I do want to say that I have an allergy or a cold. I'm pretty sure it's an allergy. And I've been sneezing all day, and so I have a sore throat. So that's that. Here we have Supreme, $4.29. I live in California. Gas prices are $8. Where I passed two or three places today. Went to the movies today. Wow, saw the new Ryan Gosling movie. What a movie. It was just a great watch. It was just a great time. Went with one of my favorite movie buddies. Americans feeling the effects of the ongoing war in Iran at the pump, and I wanted to go through and show you some of the prices, but paywall is blocking me. So just know that some states are being harder hit than others. The 20 states that are being the hardest hit, California is right up there on top. And then I'm just going to check with Al Jazeera to see what's going on. But yeah, you see the tanker fire here is top of the news. So I'm going to make that a little bit bigger here. Yeah, the war is raging. There's a lot going on. Hezbollah and in Lebanon, Israel constantly bombing Lebanon. Gulf nations urge end to war. All signals point toward escalation. Hezbollah claims drone attack on Israel's air defense. South Korea eyes a budget to cushion for the war. I did want to share the news with you about Cuba. So we've got good news for Cuba uh, in that Russian tanker is going to get through and Cuba's going to get some relief from Trump. So there's that. But let's go to Trump, who is asked about the ground war. And here's what he has to say.
Considering still putting boots on the ground, and would you do that without going to Congress?
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there. We don't need them all because of, the power. Look, I would say we're just like we're ahead of schedule on the ballroom. In a much bigger way, we're ahead of schedule with Iran. We're weeks ahead of schedule. If you would have said that in 3 days we were going to knock out 158 ships, their entire Navy, which we did. We knocked out their entire Air Force. We knocked out most of their missiles. That's why you see missile attacks, but they're sputtering. And we have a group, it's really a new regime. It's a new group of people that we've never dealt with before, that are acting very reasonable. It is truly regime change.
So that's Trump talking about the question about the ground war, which, if you listen to all the experts, it's going to happen. I mean, I listen to Malcolm Nance. I love him. He really, Black Man Spy, he's here and on Substack and just pretty much everywhere. And he's so brilliant because he lived there and worked there for years. And when I say there, in the Middle East. So, all the signs show that there is going to be some sort of a ground war. Um, every news site's leading with the war, and I just want to share, this is what I mentioned earlier. Russian oil tanker arrives in Cuba as Trump is okay now. I mean, what's going on with this? So Trump was on, as you saw him, he was on Air Force One, and he was talking about the war. And so the next bite I have, you guys, honestly, it's all over the place. I lost count at like 15, 16, where he changes the subject and says something else. So it starts with they're in negotiations. Then we've destroyed so many targets. And then it was a busy day destroying targets, but then also negotiating. And it was deadly. And also we're dealing with Iran directly and indirectly, although Iran denies that. Then he talks about Iran letting boats through. And he says 10 boats are getting through. And then 20 more boats are getting through. Now, I know countries are negotiating to get their tankers through the strait and giving Iran money, paying to get through. But Trump's making it sound like that we're doing that, and that they're doing it as a gift to, the big present, to appease us. So, I mean, on and on and on. So here's the soundbite and I'll just let you listen to it, but it's really, yeah, it's all over the place. He's rambling. So here you go.
We've had very good negotiations today with Iran, getting a lot of the things that they should have given us a long time ago. We'll see how it works out, but they're very good, moving along very nicely. They've destroyed a lot of additional targets today. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, we know that. But we destroyed many, many targets today. It was a big day. And we are negotiating with them directly and indirectly. We have emissaries, but we also are dealing directly. And as you know, they've agreed to send 8 boats 2 days ago, and then they added another 2, so it was 10 boats. And now today they gave us as a tribute, I don't know, I can't define it exactly, but they gave us, I think out of a sign of respect, 20 boats of oil, big, big boats of oil, going through the Hormuz Strait. And that's taking place starting tomorrow morning. Over the next couple of days, a lot of boats. And I would only say that we're doing extremely well in that negotiation. But you never know with Iran, because we negotiate with them and then we always have to blow them up, whether it's the B-2 bombers or just terminating, as an example, the...
Jose, as you can see, he's very scattered. He's jumping around back and forth. I mean, he calls it the weave, but he seems to be very scattered. And I don't know. Well, I'll just let it go on about the boats, because he said they've let 10 through, but now 20 beginning tomorrow. So I'll let it play out. There's about another minute or so.
Iran nuclear deal done by Barack Hussein Obama, probably the worst deal we've ever done as a country.
All right, so the Obama thing really irks me, because Obama made a deal with them and it was a good deal. And he just takes every chance he gets to attack Obama about the deal. What they're trying to get now, that 15-point plan, it's basically what Obama had in place. So how is this even... All right. Honestly, really?
One of the dumbest deals we've ever done. But I terminated it, fortunately, otherwise right now they'd have a nuclear weapon. Then we did the attack with the B-2 bombers, and we stopped them from having nuclear. And now we had to blow them up again. And we will probably, I think we'll make a deal with them, pretty sure. Whether it's possible, we won't. But we've had regime change, if you look already, because the one regime was decimated, destroyed, they're all dead. The next regime is mostly dead. And the third regime, we're dealing with different people than anybody's dealt with before. It's a whole different group of people. So I would consider that regime change. And frankly, they've been very reasonable. So I think we've had regime change. I mean, you can't do much better than that. The regime that was really bad, really evil was the first one. That was done. The second was appointed, and they're gone. They're all dead, other than one who may have a little life in him. And then there really are the third group, and the third group of people that seem to be much more reasonable. It truly is regime change. And regime change is an imperative, but I think we have it automatically.
Wow. So there it was. Negotiations are ongoing. You know, Obama made a bad deal. He's trying to make the same deal. We've got 10 boats going through. No, but we've got 20 boats going through. We're in negotiations. You know, we're not in negotiations. We're talking to them one way or the other. The bombing, the fighting is ongoing. And water plants are being targeted, which is a war crime to blow up a water supply for a country. Yeah. And meantime, as Trump is saying this, he's posting on social media that they better make a deal, or else he will attack their infrastructure targets. He will attack their electric grid, which I think also that is a war crime as well. And then there's reports that we did bomb a second school besides the little girls' school. So I'm waiting for more information on that before I just repeat it. One thing today is that Marco Rubio sat down with an anchor reporter on Al Jazeera television. So I think Marco Rubio is in the Middle East, and he made a lot more sense than Trump. So here is Marco Rubio. He's answering questions on Al Jazeera about some of the things that Trump just said. And he clarifies a lot of what Trump is saying, but still, he's basically saying when all their long-range missiles are gone. And one way or the other, the Strait of Hormuz will be open. So here is Marco.
Let me start by asking you this. Have formal talks begun with Iran, or are they still in direct communications, exploring common ground?
Well, there's messages and some direct talks going on between some inside of Iran and the United States, primarily through intermediaries, but there's been some conversation. And I think the president always prefers diplomacy, always prefers an outcome, and we could have done this before.
Are you consider a plan to ensure full control over the entire strait?
Well, the Straits of Hormuz will be open. When this operation is over, it will be open, and it'll be open one way or another. It will be open because Iran agrees to abide by international law and not block the commercial waterway, or a coalition of nations from around the world and the region, with the participation of the United States, will make sure that it's open. One way or the other, it's going to be open. The United States is committed to finishing the job. We're working very closely with all of our allies, work very closely in defensive. Yes, unfortunately, drones and missiles get through from time to time, but the overwhelming majority of these launches are defeated. They're shot down before they reach their intended target, or the destruction would be far worse. These are strong, stable countries in the region. These are our allies. These are our friends. And we are going to continue to be there and support them as they face this onslaught. And by the way, they're not the ones. Iran is targeting them in retribution, which tells you the nature of the people we're dealing with, unfortunately.
But do you have any sense of clarity about when the war is going to be over in the Middle East?
The operation in Iran, as soon as we achieve our objectives, as I've outlined them repeatedly, and that is we've destroyed their Navy, we've destroyed their Air Force, we are well on our way to destroying the majority of their arms factories, and we're well on our way to significantly degrading their missile launchers. When those objectives are achieved, we will have achieved the purpose of this operation, and that's something that's not going to take months. That's a matter of weeks. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many weeks, but a matter of weeks, not months.
All right. I know this dude is sorry. Here's the thing, though. It's a little kind of a relief for me, anyway, to hear Marco Rubio, because Trump, I don't know if you were here for that soundbite when Trump was just, all over the place talking about this and that and rambling and wandering around and talking about, just everything. A big day, a little day, not good, really good. We're negotiating. At least Rubio kind of explained they're talking to people like off, not official talks. I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting. And I have read that there are emissaries from other countries carrying messages back and forth. So at least, I mean, any kind of communication is better than no communication at all. So over the weekend, we talked about, I showed in one of my live shots, we talked about that. Remember when Iran hit the Saudi air base? I wanted to show you just a short little voiceover video. Here it is. This is a video of the plane that was hit. And some Americans were injured. Here's a shot of the plane before it was bombed on the ground. And it is an E-3 Sentry type plane. So it's got that big round satellite dish type thing on the back. This plane is a $300 million plane. And in order to replace it, it's $700 million. But this is something that, by it being destroyed, really, we have others of these, but I think they have to be brought in. By it being destroyed, it's just not good, because it really serves the purpose there of tracking incoming from other countries. And I was going to say from Iran only, but no. there are other things going on there besides Iran. So that's, I'm no Malcolm Nance, but that's kind of an update on what's been going on. And um, I have Al Jazeera up live, and I've been watching. I have them on my big TV to wait and see if there's any updates about what's going on, because the ground war or the ground troops, with Trump even saying whatever he says, and Rubio saying, I mean, they're really not any sit down negotiations right now. Iran is saying no, they're not doing that. So honestly, waiting to see if they're going to put troops on the ground and when that's going to happen. And gas and oil prices are going up and up and up, and it's everything that goes with that is not good. It's not good for us in our pocketbooks. It's like, wow, it's so bad. It is so bad. I did not gas up 2 weeks ago or whenever, when I was telling everybody to get gas, and now I went to the movies today, and I drove by 2 gas stations, and it was like, okay, I'm not getting gas. And then when I was pulling into the garage, my light came on that said, yeah, you need to fuel up. I wanted to just, in addition to the good news that I don't know if it's called good news, the whole thing with Cuba. I'm glad that Cuba's going to get some oil. The other thing, other big story that's going on behind the scenes as we all deal with higher food prices and higher gas prices is somebody is betting on the war. There is war profiteering going on. And this was a big story today in some mainstream media, not all, because how that goes. The Hegseth is denying that his broker sought investment before the Iran war. So this is something that's you hear about as you're searching, or that I hear about as I'm searching for stories to share important stories that relate to the war, as we all suffer with prices, and as we watch our troops kiss their loved ones goodbye and leave. There are reportedly 50,000 U.S. troops on the ground. And some of the big news over the weekend was that Israel says they are not going to put troops on the ground in the middle, in that area. And it's like, what? Yeah, I'm stuttering. We're doing it alone. I mean, why? Why is that? But this whole thing with, they know this is going on. They see that people are betting, and they see, Trump makes a statement like the war's almost over, and then stock prices go up or stock prices go down. And the whole drone thing, Trump's sons are invested in drone companies, and it's just a dirty, rotten thing. And the Financial Times reported that a wealth manager for the defense secretary contacted BlackRock about making a multi-million-dollar investment in a defense-related fund in the weeks leading up to the war. Because what did he know? And how did he know it? So that's going on. And you know what? I just want anybody who is profiteering off of anything that has to do with any of our soldiers being killed, they need to be prosecuted. They won't be prosecuted like right now, but when Congress gets back, when Democrats take over, which we hope they will, we need to prosecute these dudes, because this is wrong on every level. Wanted to also just mention, because Mexico is not pleased, another Mexican immigrant died in U.S. immigration custody. ICE says that's 14 deaths in 2026. And that's just since, it's like 3 months, okay? There have been 14 deaths. Jose Guadalupe Ramos found unconscious in a Los Angeles detention center, later declared dead. Mexican government criticizes ICE over detainees' deaths. Trump's mass deportation effort increases ICE detention numbers. They're saying that, but that's why they're trying to justify building more prisons for ICE people in custody. And that is an update on what is going on. This just, when I read it, it's like the number of immigrants in ICE detention has reached record levels with 68,000 locked up as of early February. 68,000 people right now are in custody. And, get this, you guys. It's like, okay, 14,000 in 3 months. Last year, there were 31 people who died in custody. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's like, what are we doing? Some of the deaths are pretty hard to even describe. Like one guy had diabetes and they wouldn't give him his diabetes medication. Who knows what the extenuating circumstances are, but we really do need to get to the bottom of it. So there's that. Do have a TSA interview, and what I did with the TSA interview was it was on PBS, so it was a PBS report, and I just pulled the clips from the interview. And the last clip, he asks her about Congress not settling this thing, about Congress, which is one of my gripes. Okay, Congress needs to do its job. Congress needs to deal with the budget and not let Trump deal with the budget, and do something about the war, in that if we're spending, $300 million, and now that plane that got bombed, and it takes 700 million to replace it, and the war is costing us an estimated 2 billion a day. They say it's 1 billion. But then other estimates say it's twice as much, which I don't doubt it's twice as much. Congress needs to step in. This is their job. This is their job. It's in the Constitution. They're responsible for the purse. They're responsible for funding. Instead of just letting Trump go off, especially if we're going to have troops on the ground, they need to step up and get tough. Why are they on vacation for 2 weeks? I mean, I don't understand that. Yes, please go and do your Easter services, or do your Passover services, or do your services that you need to do. Absolutely, sure, no problem. But then come back to work and do something. So instead of just spending our money willy-nilly, never willy and nilly. Here's the TSA interview, and when we get toward the end, I'll pause and just pull out, tell you the part where they ask her about Congress, because she's saying, and I agree with her, when this latest little tiny reprieve of getting paid, when that ends, because Congress needs to pass the bill, then they're going to be again in the same position with no pay right before summer. And then again, when the fiscal year ends at the end of September, again, it's going to happen again. Mike Johnson's the Speaker of the House. He needs to get on ball here. So here's the TSA interview. She just got a paycheck.
It's been devastating. It's been a constant battle with trying to stay alive financially, and trying to keep a nice face on. But when the passenger comes up to greet you, you greet them just the same, and not let them know that there's something very bad deep down inside. So supplementing the income is not an easy task. You cannot just go get another job. The agency has to okay that other income and that other work. And where would you have time to do that when you are already pulling a 10 to 12 hour shift, and with 1 day off a week, trying to cover for those that couldn't come to work? So if you resigned, you turned in your badge, which means you also lost your security clearance, which means you're not coming back. And those that couldn't come to work, hopefully they will eventually be able to, pay off whatever bill that's holding them to stay at home, probably a childcare issue. And so it's not an easy, quick fix. It's going to take some time. And I don't think we're ever going to really recover from this abuse. There's a lot of finance charges and late fees and we're still trying to get ourselves out of the last shutdown, where if we took a loan there against anything that we had, that you couldn't take another loan because you already had one outstanding. And unfortunately, the agency does not like it, and they frown big on a bad credit report. And I guarantee you, we're going to have some officers with bad credit ratings. Walk a mile in our shoes. Of course, we're not going to let them know it when we're on the checkpoint. We're going to be professional. We're going to be diligent at our job and only focused on our jobs. Of course, we'll say hello and have a nice day and have a safe flight, but we're not going to let them know how we truly feel. I would like them to know that it's a big thank you for all of those gift cards that they gave us, and the donations of food and diapers and laundry detergent, all kinds of, even pet food. Those were crazy donations that they didn't have to do. They already pay a 9/11 tax when they bought their boarding pass. And that 9/11 tax should be something that we're using as, our budget money. So I'm not sure where the politicians or how the politicians handle our budget line. But it would be nice if the politicians got themselves together and figured all this mess out and stopped doing it on our backs. Because I think it's going to happen again at the end of May and probably at the end of September. We'll have to go through all of this all over again. And we don't have that kind of pay to save for a rainy day. We start at $40,000. So I don't know how we're gonna ever have money to pay for another shutdown.
Here they ask about Congress being on break, and you know what? Here's what I want to know. I'm gonna try to find it. Where does that 9/11 tax go? Why isn't that going into some sort of a fund to help get through these times? And then I will just say again, as someone who crawls over the budget, there's a lot of money in the Homeland Security budget. So they didn't have to do this to them. They could have paid them just like they paid air traffic controllers, just like they're paying ICE and Border Patrol, because there's money there that could have been backfilled when Congress finally does pass, the budget. So, yeah, so here she is talking about Congress going on vacation.
I'll have a nice vacation. We are not getting a vacation. Me as a grandmother have missed a lot of milestones because I'm not allowed to take an unscheduled leave. Our Easters are not going to be the same. Most of us are going to work that day. Easter baskets, forget it. We're not going to have money for that. We don't have a red line and a blue line for passengers to be separated. We have a red, white, and blue checkpoint. We treat everybody the same. We don't discriminate on what their political desires or wants and needs are. So we don't understand why the politicians can't serve the American people and fix this issue.
All right, that's a soundbite. I'm just glad they finally got a paycheck. And, so if I don't know when you're taking spring break, but I mean, it's Easter Sunday, next Sunday. I don't know if most people are off this week or off next week. But that's what's going on with TSA. So they're funded for a little while. ICE is, I don't know, the whole prison thing just irks me. And yes, we definitely need sensible immigration reform. We're not going to get it. We're not going to get it for now years because they're just going to keep torturing. They're going to stick with this current plan under Trump. So, a lot is said, and I said it earlier when Trump was rambling about the war. But in the middle of all this, okay, our gas prices are high, our food prices are high, tariffs are hitting, we're in a war. There are 50,000 American troops now in the Gulf. There's bombing going on left and right. They're bombing ships. All of the Navy, everything that they say is not really a fact because Iran is still bombing. They're still lobbing bombs. And more people are joining in the fight, more and more other countries. But as all of this is going on, Trump remains obsessed with the ballroom. And here is the soundbite. And he carries a schematic, pictures of the ballroom onto Air Force One and doesn't want to talk about anything else but this ballroom that is going to be big. I don't know if you guys ever saw Alien, where the one character says, "It's big. It's grown. It's like the size of a man." Watch how he talks about the ballroom.
For 150 years, they've wanted to build a ballroom at the White House. And other presidents have wanted it. When we have dignitaries coming, like President Xi of China or anybody else, we have very small rooms. They're not big enough.
All right, I'm sorry. Yes, I put the cuckoo underneath. It was a royalty-free sound. And how cuckoo is this? He doesn't want to, and somebody asks him a question in a second. Here, I'll try to let it go. I hope the cuckoo isn't too annoying to you, but it's not good, you guys. This is not good.
Handle the kind of capacity that you need. This is the same height as the White House. It's an incredible fitting. You see what that is, right? Nice. I'll show you. Here's another view. This is coming from right opposite the Treasury building. Beautiful Capitol. Beautiful building. One of the, I think it'll be the finest ballroom of its kind anywhere in the world. So we're ahead of schedule and
Beautiful Capitol building. I mean, and then later he says, "Oh, we're just like the ballroom, the war is going right on schedule."
Under budget, and all of this money, all of the money paid are paid by myself and donors. It's all donors. There's not one dime of government money going into the ballroom. Now the military is building a big complex under the ballroom, which has come out recently because of a stupid lawsuit that was filed. But the military is building a massive complex under the ballroom, and that's under construction, and we're doing very well. So
They're building a bunker under the ballroom. So it can't be just under the ballroom. It's going to be under all that area there. I mean, I would be surprised if it doesn't collapse. Wow. And then listen to this soundbite. Watch.
ahead of schedule, it's part of it. The ballroom essentially becomes a shed for what's being built under the military, including from drones.
The ballroom's a shed compared to what's being built under the ballroom. And the ballroom's huge. It makes the White House so lopsided. The original White House is going to be this tiny, and then the ballroom's going to be like this big.
And including from any other thing. The glass on the windows, you see the big windows, the glass is extremely thick. It's high-grade bulletproof glass, so all of the windows are bulletproof. I think the Times wrote, gee, some of the windows are fake. We have no fake windows. They talked about a stairway in the south. We don't have a stairway in the south. That was replaced a long time ago. But this is a view of it from the north, and that's, if you see it, it fits in with the White House. It's almost a twin to the White House. It's something we just wanted to pay tribute to the White House. And so that fits in beautifully. Let me just see another one. Here's another one. Wait, excuse me, wait. I thought I'd do this now because it's easier. I'm so busy.
Somebody tried to ask him a serious question about the war, and he says, "Oh, no, wait. I want to finish this." I mean,
that I don't have time to do this, but I'm fighting wars and other things. But this is very important because this is going to be with us for a long time, and it's going to be, I think it'll be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. It's its highest level.
wow. Wow. We've got ICE, 14 deaths in ICE custody since the first of the year. We've got a war going on. Let's check in with Al Jazeera before I sign off. Going to headlines. I'm worried about that oil spill. Kuwaiti tanker on fire after hit by Iran. 3 UN soldiers killed. There are a lot of deaths going on in Lebanon. And we're not even at war with Lebanon, allegedly. I mean, Israel's just taking this opportunity to bomb Lebanon. But Israel's not going to put troops on the ground anywhere in Iran. But Israel's bombing Lebanon. What the hell, man? And here's Rubio. That was a soundbite I played earlier about how the Strait of Hormuz will open. So that's it from me for tonight. I'm Gloria Moraga. It's almost tomorrow here in California. So thanks, you guys, for being here. I see my my Jeff is here. Hi, Jeff. That's my ex-husband's name. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Please subscribe and please follow me and please like. And I might go over to TikTok and do some sort of live on TikTok right now because I'm going to try to post some shorts as well. All right. Last day of the month tomorrow, and then we have April Fool's Day. And I'm just waiting to see what happens with the ground war. So I'll be here. Thanks. Please subscribe. Gloria Moraga, Political News. Everybody,